What's up guys, this is Rich again for another edition of Learning with Rich. So for today's topic, I'm going to talk about exporting your Revit model to CAD formats. So just a bit of a background with exporting in Revit. So Revit supports export to several computer-aided design formats or CAD formats. The first one is DWG or the Autocad drawing file format. Another file that is supported in exporting is DXF. So you can export your Revit model to DXF. So it is an open format supported by many CAD applications. So another file format is DGN. So you can export your Revit model to DGN file, which is supported by Microsoft of Bentley Systems. So another file format is SAT. Okay, SAT is for ACIS, which is a solid modeling technology that is supported by many CAD applications. Okay, so if you are going to select the application button here, so you have the export option. Okay, so you can see that you can export your model to DWG, DXF, DGN, SAT files, DWF, and many others. Okay, but these are the CAD formats that you can use if you want to export your Revit model. Okay, so you have DWG, DXF, DGN, and SAT file or ACIS. Okay, so for this exercise, I'm going to use the sample model in your Revit software, the out-of-the-box file. So I'm going to select the application button here, open, and then you can see here the samples file, the sample files folder. So if you select that, the Revit will redirect you to the samples folder, wherein you can see here the Revit architecture, RAC, Revit MEP, RME, Revit structure, RST, sample files. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to export a Revit MEP sample project. So let me just use the advanced sample project, RME sample project, and then I'm going to select open. Okay. So before exporting a Revit model to a CAD formats that you want, so you can consider these best practices. Number one, so you reduce the amount of model geometry to be exported by limiting the model geometry. Okay, so about limiting the model geometry before exporting, it will improve the performance of the export process. It will not take long. So another thing is it will reduce the size of the exported file. Okay, and another thing is it will reduce clutter in the exported file. Okay, so the amount of work required to delete these objects from the file in the importing application. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do to limit the model geometry before exporting is you can use the visibility graphic overrides, this one. So you can turn off the elements that you don't need when you export the model to a CAD format. So you just need to, let's say, open the 3D view. Okay, so this is the 3D model or the view that I want to be exported, let's say, to Autocad. So what I'm going to do is I can open the visibility graphic overrides here, and then I can turn off the elements or the categories that I do not want to be shown when I exported the Revit model to Autocad, let's say, for example. Okay, so this strategy reduces the number of objects and the amount of data that are exported from Revit and imported into another application. So it improves the performance. Okay, so turn off the visibility for categories of elements in the view as appropriate. Okay, so for example, you might want to emit the topography in case there's a topography in this model and then you don't want to export that, so you can turn off the topography. Okay, just like this one. Let's say I'm going to uncheck it, although there's no topography, so I'll just uncheck it for the sake of the exercise. Okay, and that's it. So you just need to turn off the categories that you don't need. Okay, and then you just need to select OK. Now, another practice that you can use to limit the model geometry before you export your Revit model is you just need to use your section box. Okay, just need to turn on the section box. So let's say you want to export this portion here. To define the specific part of the model to export, so we use the section box. Okay, so you just need to click that. Take note that section box is for 3D model. Okay, so I'm gonna select the top portion here, and then I select section box, and then I'm going to crop it. Okay, so this technique is particularly useful on large models. So for example, for an interior rendering of a conference room in an office building, so you use the section box to export a 3D view of the conference room, and then you can omit the rest of the building. And another thing, just like what I have said earlier, your section box, you can only use this in your 3D view. Now, if you want to crop your view in 2D, so let's say I'm gonna open a 2D here. I'm gonna open level 1 HVAC plan. Okay, so if you want to crop your 2D view, let's say you only want to show this portion. So this time, what you can do is you can turn on the crop view here and crop region visible. You just need to tick that, so you will notice you'll be able to see this boundary. So this is your crop region. So I click this one, and then I'm going to click the blue node here to control, and that's it. Alright. Okay, so you will notice there are some elements that is not being cropped by your crop region. So what you can do is you can turn on here the annotation crop. Okay, so it will crop any annotations outside the boundary. So you can turn on that. There you go. So it's now clean, right? Okay, so this is a very useful tool if you, especially if your project is a large one. Okay, so you just need to use your crop region and then the section box. Now, another thing that you can do to limit the model geometry before you export it. So let me just turn off my section box again to show the whole building. Okay, so another option that you can use to limit the model geometry that you're going to export to Autocad, let's say for example, is you can specify the detail level. Okay, the detail level can be found here on your view control bar. You will see here the detail level. So this strategy results in better performance again in the importing application and exporting. Okay, so you can specify the detail level. Let's say I'm gonna select here course. So if I select the course, you will notice it will affect your duct and then your pipe. Actually, it will affect also your cable trays, your conduit, okay, using your detail level. So if it is coarse, so what will happen is the representation of your duct, your pipe, your cable tray, it will become a single line. So it will make your model lighter than the original view. Okay, so if I'm going to change this to medium, so what will happen is it will not affect your duct, but it will affect your conduit, your pipe. You notice this is my conduit. So if I'm going to change that to coarse, oh, I mean to fine, so it looks like this, right? So this is my conduit. So this is my duct. So if I'm going to change this to medium, so what will happen to my conduit or to my pipes? It will become single line. Okay. Now, if I'm going to change my view to coarse, it will affect also your duct. Okay, so that's the difference. So as a result, you reduce the number of objects exported and the size of the exported file. Okay, so you can use your detail level. Alright, so just remember those three to limit the model geometry before exporting. So first, you can use your visibility graphic overrides to turn off elements that you don't need. Okay, the second one is you can turn on the section box and you crop the view. Okay, you can also use the crop view in 2D view. Remember, much better we use this in 2D view. This one we use in 3D. Now, the next option, the third one, is using your detail level. Okay, so that's how you limit your model geometry before you export it. Okay, so another practice or best practices that you can do is you can create or modify layer mapping to ensure that all the information is stored in Revit categories and subcategories will be exported to the proper CAD layers. Okay, so that is another practice that you can do. So you can create or modify layer mapping to ensure that all the model geometry stored in Revit are exported to the proper layers of your CAD. Okay, so later I'm going to show you that. Now, so let us now begin, or I'm going to show you now how to export this model to 3D. Okay, so to do that, so from the application, I'm going to export this 3D model to CAD. So from the application button, so there's this export here. Click this one, so I select DWG. Alright, so before you export, so you can click the ellipsis button here to check out some of the options here. Like, for example, what is the layer standards that you want to use. So let's say you are staying at America, so you can use this one. So if you want a Singapore standard, so you can select CP83, the Singapore standard 83. So you can click that. So you will notice, or just select yes. So you will notice this one will change based on the Singapore standard. So you can also modify here the settings of your lines, patterns, text and fonts, colors, solids, the units, and the general settings before you export it. So I'm not going to modify it except for the solids. So let me just select solid and then I select ACIS solid. Okay, so instead of exporting this model as a polymesh, I use ACIS solids. So okay, so this is now the model that will be exported. Okay, so I'm now going to, in case you want to export also the other views, like let's say for example the 2D view, or let's say you have sheets in this project, you want that to be exported also to CAD file. So what you can do is you can click the drop down arrow here, and then you can select this, and then from the show in list you click the drop down, and then you can select sheets in the model. Okay, so you can select that. So it will now show you here the sheets that is available for you to export. Okay, or you can also select all views and sheets in the model to show all the views in your project as well as the sheets. Okay, my 3D view here is already checked. Okay, this is my 3D view. So let's say I also want to export my sheet number 1 for, let's say, for electrical. This sheet E101 and 1 floor plan. So let's say I want to export the pipe, this level 2 HVAC piping. So I just select that. Then after that, I just select next here. So you just need to select what format that you want, what version. So let's say I just use Autocad 2013. Okay. So you just need to check this to export views on sheets and links as external references. So if you have external files in this project, so it will be exported. So once you check this one, I'll just leave it check. So this is my file name. I just put here from Revit. Okay, then I just select OK. Let's just wait for a while. So while it's being exported. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from this video. If you have any comments or questions or clarifications, you can just put it on the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as to my blog site. And then you can send me an email if you have any questions or suggestions. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.